Heya Cryptozens, welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus and we do crypto news analysis nightly at 10 p.m. And keep in mind, none of this should be considered financial advice. And it's Friday, March 10th, 2023. The U.S. Treasury Department has suggested imposing a 30% excise tax. This tax would be on the cost of energy required to power crypto mining facilities. This proposal is included in the department's Green Book. The Green Book contains tax proposals and explanations for the U.S. President's budget proposal. The excise tax would be gradually introduced, and it would be imposed on companies that use computing resources to mine cryptocurrencies based on their energy costs. Additionally, the companies using computing resources to mine cryptocurrencies will need to disclose their energy consumption and the type of power used. The proposed excise tax will be introduced gradually over 3 years with a 10% increase each year. The provision suggests that such a tax may lead to a reduction in the total number of mining machines in the United States. The document notes that the growth of digital asset mining has negative environmental effects. This can lead to environmental justice issues and increases energy prices for others sharing the same electricity grid. Now, they're saying that mining activity is uncertain. They said that it creates risks for local utilities and communities. This document suggests that an excise tax on electricity usage by digital asset miners could decrease mining activity, environmental impacts, and other related harms. However, the proposed revenue-generating tax rules, including the excise tax, must be passed in the House of Representatives and the Senate's budget before they can be implemented. Given that the House is led by Republicans, it is unlikely that they will approve the Democratic proposal as is. Nevertheless, this does give us insight into President Biden's fiscal priorities as he prepares for his re-election bid. Biden's 2024 budget proposal on Thursday includes a provision to close a tax loophole called the wash sale loophole. This provision aims to prevent individuals from selling digital assets at a loss to harvest tax losses, recognizing the loss when filing their taxes, and then immediately repurchasing the same assets. Currently, investors can sell any cryptocurrencies at a loss, then they claim their loss on their taxes, and then they can repurchase the same amount and type of crypto. The Wall Street Journal reports that the provision in the proposed budget could raise up to $24 billion. White House officials have said the plan could reduce the U.S. deficit by $3 trillion within the next 10 years. Lawmakers introduced a bill in late 2021 to prevent investors from claiming a loss and then repurchasing the same cryptocurrencies. The proposed budget is another effort to address this issue. The president's team has already passed a crypto-related tax law in 2021, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The act includes a tax provision that requires brokers facilitating crypto transactions to comply with certain reporting rules. However, the definition of broker was considered too broad by some in the industry. The U.S. Treasury Department has not yet issued official guidance on how it will define broker. Another provision in the Green Book is related to the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act rules. That document suggests capturing foreign account holders in the information reporting rules as part of the government's ongoing information sharing efforts about financial brokers. Another section in the Green Book requires individuals with foreign financial accounts holding at least $50,000 in crypto to report these holdings in their tax returns. And finally, one provision proposes amending the mark-to-market rules to include cryptocurrencies. Michael Barr is the Vice Chairman for Supervision at the Federal Reserve. On Thursday, he announced that the central bank is forming a team of experts to oversee the crypto industry. The team will consist of digital assets specialists who will assist the Federal Reserve in staying informed about the latest innovations and advancements in the sector. Barr explained that this task force is necessary to ensure that the Federal Reserve is up to date on new developments and is able to learn from them. Barr expressed his agreement with Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's remarks about the central bank's desire to preserve crypto innovations all while implementing regulatory measures. Barr holds significant sway over the Fed's crypto regulation and supervision policies. While acknowledging the potential transformative effect of these technologies on the financial system, he also voiced criticism of the industry. Barr stated that the emergence of new, highly centralized intermediaries that are either not regulated or not in compliance with appropriate supervision has caused harm to consumers. That's despite the hype surrounding crypto assets as being decentralized. He emphasized that banks should approach crypto asset-related activities and the crypto sector with caution. Overall, Barr urged for appropriate regulation and supervision to prevent harm to consumers. The Federal Reserve, along with regulatory agencies such as the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, has been issuing guidance and policy statements on digital assets in the United States in recent months. Barr confirmed that these kinds of statements will continue. He was asked about whether the Fed should have detected crypto concentration problems at certain banks before they issued public warnings. He didn't reference Silvergate Bank's recent collapse directly, but he did mention that the agency tends to give smaller banks more flexibility than larger ones. According to Barr, the Federal Reserve has noticed that smaller banks are becoming heavily involved in cryptocurrency activity, but the extent of their exposure to correlated risks is not well known. He stated that the crypto winter served as a reminder that the crypto sector risks are highly correlated. Due to the Federal Reserve's light-touch approach to smaller institutions, these banks must be more vigilant about monitoring new and novel risks, and the agency needs to ensure that they understand the importance of doing so. Barr also addressed stablecoins, which has been an area of concern for the Federal Reserve since the Facebook Diem era. He referred to stablecoins as unregulated private money that is subject to classic run risk, and he warns that the widespread adoption of such tokens could pose a threat to the broader financial system. If stablecoins were to become popular before regulations were in place, it could create significant disruptions for financial institutions and individuals who rely on the coins. According to Barr, Congress has a critical role to play in establishing a framework for stablecoins. The U.S. Department of Justice has challenged a decision made by a bankruptcy judge in New York. The judge had allowed Binance US to acquire the assets of Voyager Digital. The DOJ filed an appeal late on Thursday through the U.S. Trustee's Office. Now, the Trustee's Office oversees bankruptcies in the U.S. This happened only one day after Judge Michael Wiles had approved the acquisition, following a marathon 4-day hearing that had been full of disagreements. The SEC and state regulators have been against the proposed acquisition. They argue that Binance US might be violating federal securities laws by operating an unregistered securities exchange in the U.S. Last month, the SEC objected to the purchase of Voyager. However, Judge Wiles did not seem to be persuaded by the SEC's concerns. During the hearing, he told the lawyers that the bankruptcy code does not allow an infinite amount of time. Judge Wiles stated that the action needed to be taken as creditors were waiting and unable to access their investments due to the uncertainty surrounding the situation. He believed that something needed to be done. The proposed sale to Binance US would result in Voyager's customers recovering around 73% of their investments. This plan was created after FTX filed for bankruptcy in November. The majority of Voyager's creditors, 97%, supported this new plan. If Voyager chooses not to proceed with the current sale to Binance US, or if regulators succeed in preventing the acquisition, the lender may opt to liquidate. This could lead to much smaller returns for creditors. Representative Tom Emmer is a Republican in the U.S. House of Representatives, and he's working to prevent what he believes is an attempt by the Biden administration to create a digital dollar. And not just a digital dollar, but one that could be used to collect personal financial information of Americans. Emmer supports the cryptocurrency industry, and he thinks a CBDC could be dangerous to citizens' privacy, specifically because it allows unelected government officials to access their personal information. So, Emmer introduced a bill to block the Federal Reserve from launching a central bank digital currency. Now, while the Treasury Department has supported the development of a digital dollar, the Fed is still researching the matter. During a talk at the Cato Institute, Representative Emmer expressed his concerns about the Biden administration's plan to create a CBDC. Emmer believes that the administration is willing to compromise Americans' rights to financial privacy for the sake of creating a digital dollar. So now here's the thing. Emmer thinks that a government-issued token could easily be used as a surveillance tool. which could limit politically unpopular activities. He fears the government could program the CDBC to choke out such activities. Meanwhile, 4 of Emmer's Senate colleagues also took action. And we were talking earlier about the FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the comptroller of the currency, that they were issuing guidance related to crypto. Well, 4 Republican senators wrote a letter to those regulators expressing concern about the increasing regulatory crackdown on banks serving the crypto industry. Now, they believe that punishing the entire industry might be going too far. They worry that discouraging the crypto sector might be outside of their mandate. They compare it to a previous crackdown on legal gun vendors called Operation Choke Point. So this letter went to Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve, Michael Hsu of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and Marty Grunberg of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And in that letter, the 4 senators expressed their concern about the overreaching behavior of banking regulators and how that could affect other legal industries. It's their position that any industry could be targeted based on the regulator's ideological perspective. They point to the example of Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme not leading to banks cutting off other asset managers. They've requested a response from the regulators by March 24th. Now, on January 3rd, those 3 regulators cautioned banks to be careful when dealing with crypto companies. Speaking of CDBCs, let's look at Nigeria. Bola Tinubu is the president-elect of Nigeria. He's published a plan that could allow the use of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies in the country's financial sector. This plan proposes a review of the current Nigerian Security Exchange Commission's regulations on digital assets, with an eye towards making them more favorable for businesses. The suggested changes would create a structure for governing digital assets such as cryptocurrencies and other digital tokens in Nigeria. Under the proposed regulations, digital asset firms would need to register with Nigeria's SEC and ensure that all digital asset offerings and investments adhere to their rules. Tinubu's manifesto expressed the goal of promoting the responsible use of blockchain technology in areas such as banking and finance, identity management, revenue collection, and cryptocurrency assets. So, an advisory committee would be created, and this committee would take a look at the existing regulations on digital assets. They would also develop a more streamlined and favorable regulatory structure for businesses. Now, critics of current regulations claim that they do not include provisions for cryptocurrency users to transact with their local banks. The recently released manifesto is also in line with the central bank's e-Naira, which is the country's digital currency. Now, the e-Naira has not met expectations so far, but the proposed changes could aid in expanding its adoption. The government anticipates that the suggested modifications to those regulations will attract additional investors to the digital and economic sectors and promote economic growth. Tinubu emphasized the goal of promoting the e-Naira, and he also suggested that the central bank should increase its use. The publication of the manifesto corresponds with the rising popularity of cryptocurrency among Nigerians, which is among the highest globally. This trend is mirrored in the CBN's relaxed attitude towards stablecoins, as evidenced by the bank's recent research report, Nigeria's Payment System Vision 2025. This report explores the possibility of developing a new framework to introduce a stablecoin in Nigeria. The Attorney General of New York is Letitia James, and she has taken legal action against KuCoin. Now, KuCoin is a cryptocurrency exchange that is not registered in New York, and that's the problem. James claims that she was able to trade cryptocurrency on the exchange, which has led to her filing a lawsuit against KuCoin. According to a statement from her office, this is one of the first cases in which a regulator has claimed in court that Ethereum, one of the biggest cryptocurrencies available, is a security. Well, you might be wondering why this matters. The complaint alleges that KuCoin violated securities law by offering to buy and sell cryptocurrencies that are commodities and securities to New Yorkers without registering with the Attorney General's office. The complaint filed against KuCoin also alleges that the exchange issued and sold a product called KuCoin Earn. Now, they're saying that KuCoin Earn is considered a security, and as we know, KuCoin did not register as a securities broker or dealer. So this complaint also claims that KuCoin misrepresented itself as an exchange because it was not registered to perform that function. Now, according to the lawsuit, Ethereum, Luna, and UST are considered commodities under both state and federal authority. However, KuCoin did not register as a commodities broker. Now, this lawsuit also claims that Ethereum, Luna, UST, and KuCoin Earn are all considered securities under the Waldstein test, which was established by the New York Supreme Court of Albany County in 1936. Additionally, they're also securities under the Howey test, which has been supported by recent federal authority. The lawsuit references the SEC versus LBRY case as evidence to support its claims. It requests a permanent injunction against KuCoin's ability to buy and sell securities and commodities to and from New Yorkers. The lawsuit also asks the court to require KuCoin to provide an accounting of all New Yorkers who've used the exchange and to return any illegally obtained funds. This is the 8th time that the AG has taken action to regulate cryptocurrency platforms, according to her own statement. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe. Leave a rating or review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.